Listen, the British Empire wasn't built on fair trade or just hard work and earning it. This empire was managed through outright theft. I'm not talking about petty shoplifting, I'm talking about state-sponsored, global, massive piracy. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the English crown literally hired pirates, gave them a license to steal, and split the profits. History books dress them up as privateers, but let's not beat around the bush. They were looting outlaws in the service of the state. Picture Europe in the late 1500s. Spain and Portugal are sitting at the top of the world. Their galleons, returning from the Americas, are nearly sinking under the weight of gold and silver. England, by comparison, was a poor, underdeveloped, second-rate power. Queen Elizabeth didn't have the money to fight Spain head-on. So, what did she do? She turned to a different weapon, systemic robbery. Elizabeth issued letters of marque, legal licenses that turned pirates into royal agents. A pirate with this document could attack enemy ships and seize their cargo in the Queen's name. The Queen took her cut, investors got rich, and the pirates made the score of a lifetime. Theft became official state policy. In school textbooks, you read about Francis Drake as a heroic explorer who circumnavigated the globe. But no one mentions that the voyage was actually a meticulously planned robbery spree. In 1579, Drake captured the Spanish ship Cacafuego. He hauled away 26 tons of silver, chests of gold, and precious jewels. In today's money, that's over $40 million. When Drake returned in 1580, he brought his investors a staggering 4,700% profit. Queen Elizabeth used her secret share to pay off England's entire foreign debt in one go and knighted Drake on the deck of his ship. That was the moment piracy became patriotism. Spain called it terrorism, England called it strategy. By the 17th century, Henry Morgan stepped onto the stage. Morgan wasn't just a pirate, he was an imperial businessman. In 1671, he sacked Panama, carrying away gold and silver not in chests, but in wagon loads. Technically, it was a time of peace, so Morgan was arrested and sent to London for show. But guess what? Instead of being hanged, he was knighted and sent back to Jamaica as lieutenant governor. The empire basically told him, "Well done, kid, keep up the good work." The plunder brought by these pirates wasn't just trinkets, it became the seed capital of the empire. The gold and silver seized from these raids jump-started the English economy, strengthened the navy, and provided the funds needed for colonization. Piracy was the savage venture capital that transformed England from a small island into a global giant. Later, this logic evolved into the East India Company. They stopped raiding individual ships and started draining the lifeblood of entire subcontinents through taxes and monopolies. The violence was rebranded as commerce and law, but the principle remained: extract the wealth of others, bring it home, and call it progress. Do you think this story stayed 400 years in the past? Methods change. But the logic never does. 16th century, the Queen hired pirates. Today, governments use private military contractors, mercenaries, to handle the dirty work. 17th century, there were licenses to steal. Today, there are shell companies, tax havens, and complex financial systems that dump the risk on the public's back. If the most glorious empire in history was built on theft hidden behind policy, do you really think today's system is any different? Do you honestly believe that financial institutions, giant corporations, or governments will hesitate to bend the rules when their own survival is at stake? Real wealth is not the numbers on a screen promised to you by states or banks. Your bank balance can be frozen, your currency can be devalued, and your assets can be seized. Real wealth is the independence that remains in your hands even if the rules of the system change. Your knowledge, your skills, and your physical assets. The British Empire didn't rise because it played fair, it rose because it weaponized money and power, turning pirates into national heroes. History has been whispering the same thing for 1,000 years. Whenever a state needs money, it will find new pirates. Sometimes they sail ships, sometimes they run banks. But the result is always the same: the system survives, and you pay the price.